and welcome to Mandy's Come Sew With Me. Now, if you haven't been here before, my name's Mandy and this is my craft room. This is where I do all my videos. So I'll just jump straight into it today. I thought we'd do something a little bit slower, a little bit simple. And I know you guys are going to go, no, not the fabric boxes. You know what? That is okay. I would probably say the same. But yes, I'm going to show you quickly how to make some fabric boxes. Now, everyone does these. Everyone's doing them. I actually made these and I had them for sale in my shop when I had my shop. So I actually started off with just the 3 sizes. And I'm actually pretty sure the largest size was a 20-inch piece of fabric. Not 100% sure on that. I have to look back over on all my notes. But the smallest size, I'm pretty sure I started off with a piece of fabric this size, which is this one. It looks like 11 inches by 11 inches. Yeah, I don't actually have my glasses on. That would help. Yep. 11 inches by 11 inches. Not sure why I did that. But anyway, now I had a little bit of this pellin laying around, and this particular pellin has, like, it's plain on one side, and if you want to come up closer, it's got like this sticky on this side. If you want to have a closer look, you see the little bubbles. So this pellin is an iron-on one. So whatever fabric you want as the front or the top, you can actually iron that piece of fabric on. But today I'm making this one. So this one is 19 inches by 19 inches square. All of these boxes are square. Now it depends on what fabric you actually want showing up here as to what fabric you put where. Now I was actually thinking myself, see, I've stuck to the golden rules and used that side as my main fabric. But when the boxes are actually made up, you do see a lot of the top and inside. So today what I'm thinking of doing is making this part of the fabric the inside of the box, and this piece is going to be around the outside edge. We'll have a look anyway and see what we think. But yes, with these boxes, like, they're very quick and easy to make. I've hand stitched buttons on, so we're going to go ahead and learn how to sew buttons on, guys, because a lot of people, actually it's surprising how many people don't know how to sew buttons on. So we'll have a closer look at that too. But in the meantime, now I have ironed my fabric to this piece of pellin. It looks like it might be Visaline. Definitely came from Spotlight from here in Australia. So if you're interested in this one, check it out in Spotlight, because it's definitely in Spotlight. That's where I get a lot of my stuff from. The small one, because I'll probably do the small one as well. Yeah, same deal, same thing again. It's the same pellin, so you can iron it on to one side, which would probably help. So we're going to go to the sewing machine, but I've got to grab some other things. So I'll be back shortly. So we're back again. All right, now I'm just going to show you quickly how to sew this up. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. And we'll just get this over and done with. Now, if there's any inconsistencies in the fabric, always follow the top fabric. So I'm not actually going to do anything in particular, but I'm about that far away from the edge, so it's probably a scant 1/4 of an inch. So I'll just start it off, run it down. There's bugs around. And once I get to the other side, I'm actually going to finish it. So you really want to have clean corners. I'll get it all right shortly, guys. You really want to have clean corners. Okay, so get that there, run it down. Now again, I have this pinned. So down there, I'm gonna actually, when I'm finished, I will probably trim some of this off because of the inconsistencies that I've ended up with. For this side, we have to leave an opening. So I'll sew to this pin and then we'll stop it. And I'll start it again at this pin. So what I've done is I've given myself an opening. So take all these other pins out. Quickly give that a trim, particularly that edge. Now if you had crimping scissors, you would do this with crimping scissors because they do stop. Oh, and also clip off your corners without touching that corner thread because they are the worst to try and turn through. So I got all the corners. And I'll just fix this one up too. Now I'll just show you the sizings too. Now this one started off at 10 inches square. So you got 10 inches there and 10 inches there. So it's a 10-inch square one, this one. This would probably be the smallest you would do. Sorry guys, playing with rubbish here. Now, poke pieces through. So basically, poke all your corners through, pop it through, get that corner and that one. Now, remember my purple thing? It's really good for poking the corners out. So I'm just gonna pop this in there. Get that corner out. Sometimes they need a little bit more encouragement. But as long as you get a fairly nice corner out, you can work with them. And there again, get that corner out. Some corners come out easier than others. I'm sure you all know that. That one's been a bugger. So it's going to take a little bit more talking to. And there's that bug. Why is there a bug in here? And there we go. So we've got halfway decent corners poked out. Get that piece sitting nice. Now with this part, tuck it in. And I'll use clips on that one. Use as many clips as you like. They all help to keep it all in shape. Now I use clips mostly, but sometimes I use pins. Now you want to sew this all around the outside edge as close to this edge as possible. So what I do is I put the fabric under my foot, and the edge of this fabric is pretty much at the edge of that foot there. And that's about what I want. And again, try not to be tempted to continue around. Oh, I'm going to move my thing out of the way. And there we go. I'm on the last side now. So when I finish this, I'll actually talk to you about measurements. When I get a little bit of puckering, that's what I use my picker for, to help feed it in. And dun, dun, dun. There you go. And that piece is finished. So this is how we start off with our square boxes. Now you saw this one started off at as a 10-inch square box. Well, it's now around 9.5 inches. So, and that's probably the way it works. Now sizing, okay. I can't remember what size my other boxes started at. I think this might have been about a 20-inch, maybe. This was possibly a 15. And this one I think may have been a 10. Not 100% sure, but when we did this one earlier, now this one was 11 inches when we started with this one. And it is definitely smaller, as you can see. So I'd say that would be 10 and that one's 11. Pretty cool though. And even though they are quick and easy to make, it still does take time, guys. So remember that. It's still going to take time. So I might have to do some adjusting with some of these because they haven't laid flat very well. That's okay. I'll get to that. Sizing. I ended up making these from 10 inches all the way up to 20 inches. Whatever size you want to make them as, you make them your size. But yeah, that's about all I can say about that. They can be fun. And I'm just going to get back into it and I'll be with you shortly. Okay guys, we're back again. I actually had to go and look at all my notes because I couldn't remember how I made these boxes. So you'll have to forgive me on that one. So what I've done and what will help, and I do realize now what an original problem was when I tried to do the sides on these boxes ages ago, the fabric would all get puckered up inside and it would never fold properly. So I'm going to make a suggestion, and you can't see that side, of doing some very basic quilting on the box, which I'm going to show you with this one. So just some very basic quilting, and this just helps to keep everything where it should be instead of puckering up. Now this is not a quilting machine like I said before, so it may pucker up a little bit, but actually it's doing all right. Look at that. Keep your hands when you're doing stuff like this spaced out both sides. Now there's one line. I'll do this next line. Oops, sorry. Ah, it's okay. I don't mind going fast. Makes the process faster. Then the two side ones. Now these side ones are actually really important. So we've got a bit of a pucker happening there, so we'll try and feed that out. And there we go. Like I said, this is not a quilting machine. So it is a bit tricky keeping some of these puckers out. But we've done okay. How's that? Now the rest is measurement. Now when I fold this in half, this measures 5.5. So probably for this one, I might go up maybe 2 inches or 2.5 at the most. Depends on how big you want your box to eventually be, being a fabric box. So I might go up around the 2.5 inches. So, all right, I'll just stick a pin there. And then here also on that edge, on this bottom edge that's folded, I'll go up 2.5 inches. Now it depends on how big you want these boxes to be. So I'll just give you a rough estimate. And remember, don't run over pins. We just keep the pin there until we get this across. Get it across, take the pin out, and there you go. So I'll just keep going with that one for now. I'll do the same again. Measure up from the center line, 2.5. And then from the edge, 2.5. Now it can get a little bit confusing. All you got to remember is you're sewing that bottom fold because that is your opening. So don't sew the opening. So we're going from that pin across to this pin. And so far, that is what we've got. So far. So the box is going to end up being a decent size by the looks of things. And you just do exactly the same thing on this edge. So we go up from the folded edge, 2.5 inches, and from that edge, 2.5 inches. Now again, like I said, you could have these any size you wanted. So if you didn't want to do 2.5 inches, if you wanted yours to stand taller, for example, you could simply by adjusting your size. So back under the sewing machine. Now those quilted folds that I did before, they really help. So get that one in. And we'll get this one in. And that is pretty much all you do. Now remember I said I hate threads. No, I really do. They are annoying. But there we go. This is our box almost done. Now all we do now is we fold our tops over, and with our tops we just go back in and do a little tacking stitch, and see, you now know where you're going to put it because you've got the center stitch, so it does make it easier. So we go around, fold them all over. Sometimes they don't want to play. And there you go. Now that's the box with all your pieces folded over, and all you do with this one is you flatten that down, and I just do this. So it's pretty easy. Get right up into that corner there, but not on the top fabric. Tack it. And right back over to the other side. And do exactly the same thing. You can do this by hand too, guys. Sitting down, doing it by hand is just as easy. And see how I didn't stitch the top fabric. I don't know whether you can see that. There you go. I didn't stitch the top fabric, I stitched the back of it. So you go around, cut all your stitches off. I'll just tack one of these down for you. Get it in there. And that is how we make our little boxes. So I'll just quickly go around while you watch and tack all the other ones down. And you can just enjoy while I'm doing this. Now, like I said, these boxes can be any size. Any size you want to make them. And there's my little baby. She sits in here with me. That's the back of my workstation here, guys. It's actually full of stuff. I have lots of scissors. Lots of scissors. I think that's it. Bugger. We made another boo-boo. And I've lost my unpicker. It's gone, guys. Oh, hang on. Found. Just do this last one. You'll get a fair idea on how to do these boxes. And do you really want to learn how to sew buttons, everyone? And there you go. That's the box. Lots of threads hanging off. But there's the box. Now that one ended up being a little bit bigger than my little one. But I'm pretty sure this little one so it's kind of an in-between size, which means they're all an inch difference in size. So I'm not actually going to show you how to sew on buttons because I haven't got them. So what did you think of that, guys? There's that one. And I will show you this one shortly. I'm actually going to go ahead and stitch this one up because I haven't finished it yet. This one, I'm using this one in my craft room. Now remember last week when I had all these little bits and pieces from making the skirt and the top, which I still have here in the back. I've actually washed it since. Well, I needed something to put all of that into, and I didn't want to use these ones. Oops, sorry, not that one. I didn't want to use the ones that I had in my shop. So I decided just to make a couple more. Yeah, just to have laying around. I got another little one over there. So I'll finish these off and then we'll say goodbye. So shortly. And we're back again. Hopefully this is the last time. Now I did say that we were going to put buttons on, and I do have a cotton and thread threaded up to just very quickly show everyone buttons, okay? Buttons are the easiest things on this planet. Now if you want to come in close, I've got a doubled thread here and I've got it knotted on the end. So an easy way, and you can just trim this all off at a later stage, you know, trim off your little threads and stuff. It is a bit hard on the darker fabric. Oh, lost the whole lot. I'm not even sure I did it properly. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, so get your thread into your fabric. Loop it. And go through your loop. And that should keep it nice and tidy, okay? Then all you do, guys, go through one hole of the button, position the button where you want it, and go through the other one. And I feel so stupid for showing you, but it is as simple as that. This is sewing a button on. Oops. And guys, that is all you do. So a button is that simple. So there's no excuses. Now I did go ahead and turned my fabric boxes over and tested out a few buttons, because I've actually got some really pretty buttons here, but I wanted something that's going to match the fabrics better. Now I actually don't have that colour purple, and I don't have blue, but I do have this icy blue, and I actually found these dragonflies, which I think are really, really cute. So, having a look at the other side of the fabric, on this fabric, you know what? I may actually use all green ones instead of these blue ones. I was going to use the blue, but I think I might use all green, because green ones I do have. And we got frogs. I'll show you. These are just so cute, these buttons. I've got frogs, I've got flowers, I've got birds. And in here, oh, actually there's a bee. Isn't he cute? And a snail. So I might just choose one of these, I think. But these are the buttons. Now, these buttons, I bought them all in Spotlight as usual. Spotlight is the place where I buy a lot of stuff. Now, the fabric boxes, another thing I realised when I did that little bit of extra quilting, it made the fabric boxes actually sit a lot better. So they actually sit a lot better, and they were easier to find where you were supposed to connect lines. So I like that. But see these little pocket pieces? Not necessarily these scissors, but other things you could put. Yeah, no, we won't put those in there. All right, I've got a pen here. Look at that. And that's what you use these corner pieces for. So this fabric box is now going to get filled up with all my little bits and pieces that I've had sitting around. I will sew my buttons on, so next time you see it, the buttons will be on. I guarantee that. This little one, I'm not quite sure what I need that one for. I'm sure I'll find something. So again, this one, we'll just pick out buttons that match it. So guys, look, I hope you enjoyed making these fabric boxes. And yes, everyone knows how to make them. Everyone does them. But this is just the way I make them. And it's pretty sort of easy, but it is time consuming. Everything is time consuming. So I'm going to leave it there, and I might get going now. That's what we made last week, our skirt and top set. And we're actually coming up to making another skirt very soon. So until next time, until my next video, like, subscribe and share with a friend, and please come back. We would just love to see you. So bye for now. Hey guys, and welcome to Mandy's Come Sew With Me. Now if you haven't been here before, this is my channel and we do a lot of sewing things. So check out other videos that I already have. You might learn some other things. But my name is Mandy and this is my craft room. This is